Gotcha.
There you go.
I would rank the 76ers on DraftKings. Richardson, Horford, Harris, Simmons, Scott.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on Capella and Steven Adams? You guys, we haven't talked much about. Adams, I find intriguing, and I also don't know that I'm buying the people's concerns about his minutes. He played less minutes on the back half of that back-to-back against Brooklyn. Still got to 35 there, but I think he's going to play mid-30s against Capella. I don't see him spending a lot of time with Capella without Adams, but just give me your thoughts on these two guys overall.
I think they're both fine. I don't have a strong preference between the two of them. I would rather, at the ownership we're seeing, play Gorgie Jang at this point to either of those players. I think they're absolutely both average. Capella, obviously you have Westbrook back in, that affects rebounds, affects some other things. Historically, it is a below average matchup against Adams, but not when he hasn't put up some very big lines in the past. The price is fine. I'm very meh on both of them. Adams, I don't know what's going to happen with the minutes. Again, he only got to the 35 minutes in the second of those back-to-back games, the Brooklyn one, because of the overtime. Otherwise, it would have been back down at 30. So I don't know if there was a whole narrative where they don't trust Moose as much as they trust Nerlens Noel, and so his minutes will be more limited because they'll just give him more time. OKC is on an island, so I'm a little more of the minutes believers. I would say 33 or 34 is where I would put him as an average of odds of getting 35, 36 and odds of getting 30. But I don't have a strong take on either of those guys, and I don't like to sort of invent one for the purposes of good TV. So at their prices and at their ownerships, I'm perfectly ambivalent on both of them. I slightly prefer Gorgie Jang to either one.
Also, some mild confusion apparently about Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose usually doesn't start. He started the second half the last few games, but he's not usually starting for the Pistons.
Yeah, I don't believe I said he was starting, but that's
no, I'm saying people in the Slack are like freaking out, I guess, over like Rose not starting.
He has not started a game this. No, he has started a couple games this year. That's actually incorrect, but he does not normally start. Yeah. Normally it's been Tim Frazier. I don't know if they're doing that crap again, but regardless, he's started the second half, I believe, of the last two games, so he doesn't start.
Yeah, and Tim Frazier was entirely out of that rotation last game too.
Yeah,
so
that's what I thought. So I'm not sure who they necessarily started, but regardless, not something I'd be overly concerned with. Yeah, in the last game they started McKay, Luke Brown, Snell, Doumbouya, Drummond.
Yep.
So is that what they're doing again?
Yep, same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so that is what they started 2 days ago, and Rose came off the bench and played 31 minutes, which is a season high. So I would not be overly concerned.
Brian Peel asking, any thoughts on Kevin Love on FanDuel?
I like him. 7,200 it's a sort of a weak position. I like it as a pay down position a little more than I like paying Kevin Love. But if you're paying up, I see getting there. I like Horford more than him from a raw point statistic. But after that, as any sort of pay up option, it's obviously Kevin Love. I think you can get away with double pay downs in the category of Scott or Muscala. Whiteside being available sort of ruins the Tolliver piece of it, but there's still a couple interesting pay downs there, and I think I feel a little better about paying down there and paying up at point guard, etc. But I'm absolutely fine with it.
Do you have a preference here between Tobias and Rose or Horford and CP3 for DK Cash?
For cash, I would play Horford and CP3.
All right. Let's see. Another good question.
Also, it's worth pointing out, Love did shoot, I believe, 12 for 15 on Tuesday, but I expect more shots and less efficiency for him in general. So I think 50 is more than I would project for him in general, but I still think it's an absolutely fine spot for him.
A lot of these questions we already did. I guess just one more cosign for this guy about Kemba being okay. Do you have one more to take on Kemba to close us out?
I think he's fine. He's $6,500. I think he has an upside. I don't think he's getting the 80 that we saw last year, but not having Embiid there is a very real thing, and I'm interested in getting it at his current ownership, which we're going to see exactly what that is in just a second as we get to America's. Oh, sorry, I'm doing your job.
Yeah, we got seconds left to lock, so if you haven't got lineups in, well, you're probably too late. Rose or Tatum in a DK GPP if already playing Kemba?
Rose.
All right, and now we are locked. So that probably didn't get to that guy in time, but no, whatever. That's life.
I wouldn't think so.
It's a dangerous game we play here every day with Live Before Lock. You guys hit that like button. We're going to play America's favorite game of Daddy Likes right now. As soon as the ownership pulls up. But also, real fast, a shout out to Super Draft. Of course, they are the future of DFS. If you missed the intro, there was a whole thing. Spaceship came down, aliens talk. We made great communications, a lot of threads built, a lot of friends made in the process. But the important thing for you is that Super Draft is giving you $20 right now if you go over there to superdraft.io. Use that promo code AWESEMO. Get $20 free with your deposit of $100 or more. It's instant release money. You get it right away. No slow drip. Let's go to superdraft.io right now and collect your $20 in super cash. Welcome to the world of the future of DFS. Really, that's what it is. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I like the future of DFS tagline. I have to say, like that makes it a lot more fun for me as a host. I can really cobble together some bullshit.
Yeah, you can riff with that. That's
not like some other sponsors of this show. So I'm not going to slander anybody, even in jest. All right, we got the ownership. Let's go.
You got it?
Yep. Who do you think is the number one player on DK's $15 fadeaway? Which, Eddie, you might have missed this because I think this has changed a lot. It's the fadeaway now every freaking day on DraftKings. So they've given up entirely on giving us fun names. But who is number one on the Thursday fadeaway for you?
Should be. It's gonna be Horford or Rose. Right, because I got just 2 games, right?
Yep.
I got
you are
Detroit,
Cleveland,
correct. and we got Boston, Philly. Okay.
Actually, I'll tell you, you are correct about the 2 guys. See, we're gonna be number 1 and 2.
It's Horford and Rose. I'll say Rose on top, although I had him pretty close.
It is in fact Horford on top, but what number?
I'll say I had them both around 40, so I'm gonna stick with 40 for both of them. Like 42 and 38 for Horford and Rose then.
Rose got to just under 40, and Horford is number 1 with 45.6%. So rounded up 46. Number 3, a guy who I feel like I don't recall if he made your Sixers rankings, but Josh Richardson, a guy who was projecting his chalk earlier. He's had a few more shots recently, but he's number 3 at 37%. I know I'm spoiling that for you, but how do you feel about that? Because it didn't seem like you had the same level of enthusiasm, but I might just be reading between the tea leaves.
I said he was my favorite Sixer on DraftKings.
So, did you? Okay, my bad. I must have missed that.
At $5,600, I slightly preferred him due to the positions and saving a little more money. Gotcha. But I would add him and Horford very close to each other. But I'm fine with it. That's a little more than I'd like to have. 38% against a good defense. Again, doesn't feel great, but I'm fairly ambivalent. I'm happy for people that he got in there over his fee. We're gonna hit.
Who's number 4?
Zvi or Drummond.
You got 4 and 5 correctly.
Okay, I'll guess Drummond then because of the way you said that. So I'll say Drummond, and Zvi got down even more.
Nope, it is in fact. I tricked you. It's number 4.
It's pump faked me. So you've been leading me the other way. Now you guys are just manipulating me with your clever banter.
I just leaned in and chucked up that 3. Now I'm going to line for 3.
A softball caught me nasty.
Svi Mykhailiuk, 26%. Andre Drummond, 24.5%. Any of those? I mean, you went on your case against Svi before, but does that seem still too high for you?
Yeah, still too high. Not as too high as when we had him projected, into the low to mid 30s. But I would still have less than 26%. That number should probably be 20. So it's high, but not as outrageously high as when it was in the 30s. So better job, everyone. I'd like to take credit for knocking one of those percents off.
How about Bruce Brown at 24%? How do you feel about that guy? How does Daddy feel about? I've been blowing it. How does Daddy feel about that, Daddy?
Daddy's fairly ambivalent with that. I like Bruce Brown a fair amount. I didn't give him a mention on the show. I feel bad about that, but he's 5K and has pretty consistently been getting putting around a 30 burger. You have bad shooting games where he picks up peripherals. You have it's interesting how he sort of manages to cobble together 30. Like it feels like 6 out of the last 8 games or something, give or take a point or two. But he's objectively priced very well in a good matchup. So I'm perfectly content.
Okay. Let's see. Our guy Brick, who's done on the contrary with us, done a great job. Check out his YouTube stream. Search Brian Hooper on YouTube. You'll find him saying he prefers the old Daddy like, where you say the player's percentage and he says if he likes it or not. Brick, not a fan of Daddy guesses. So, all right, we'll do Daddy likes for the stretch here for old Brick.
You know what? For Brick, we'll do it for Brick. Where did you get a hand grenade?
Different Brick. Brick's hand grenade is DFS lineups. He's been killing it lately too. I keep seeing him pop up in the night NBA tournament. So good job, Brick. You're doing the brand proud.
Well done.
Kemba Walker at 7C. Actually, no. Kemba Walker at 7C. Nope, my bad. I'm misreading it. 22% for Kemba. How does Daddy feel about Kemba at 22%?
Well, Rose was even higher than we expected, so I'd like him quite a bit. We had both of them projected a little lower than they ended up being, where we had, I think, Kemba 17 and Rose 34 or something, so basically 2-1, and we ended up with Rose 40 and Kemba 22. So still a big fan. I have him projected slightly higher than Derrick Rose, so I thus far he'd be the player amongst we've listed I'd be most excited to be over on.
All right, let's run through these because we have a lot of guys here, and you can just chime in if you feel like one of them jumps out.
Sure.
Kevin Love at 17.4%, Ben Simmons 17.3%, Tobias at 17%, rounded up. That feels a little low to me, but
yeah, I'd want more than 17 Tobias.
Yeah, Daniel Tice at 14, so he came up. He's actually higher owned than Mike Scott, it looks like.
Apparently, yeah. I really thought that people would flood to the Mike Scott thing.
He's actually double Mike Scott, who's at 7.2.
That's the second time this week. Who was the other guy who came in late and we thought was going to be? Oh, it was Gary Trent. 2 or 3 shows ago, we had Gary Trent starting at the minimum for Portland. The news came out like a half hour before, and we had a real recent trend with people overly massive flooding onto the late news guy. So I thought you were going to have, and sometimes I'm just incredibly wrong, I thought you were going to have like 30% Gary Trent. So I said, even for whatever it was, $500 more, I would rather play Anthony Simmons, which ended up being correct. And Simmons had a much better game and started the second half. But I thought it was because Trent was going to be like 30% and Simmons is going to be like 8%. Simmons was 5% and Trent was 3%. So that's twice this week where people just absolutely didn't do what I thought they would. I don't know how to put it any better than that. I figured this is obviously a slate where people are trying to get in. Drummonds and obviously lots of Westbrooks, and I assume at some point, people try to squeeze in some James Harden and all that. So I figured people go, oh, Mike Scott's starting. I love Mike Scott. And I thought he would get certainly into double digits. I think I said I thought he'd get 26 or 28 or something. So yeah, 7 is well less than that. So I screwed the pooch on that.
Yeah, one spit and twice shy maybe for the field with some of these guys not working out and then they're just not swapping as much. And you've talked about it a lot of actually. Brick was talking about it, and on the contrary, just people not swapping late to some of these lineups. And I think that maybe that's trickling down a little bit where people aren't swapping late and now they don't want to pivot as much to guys that they're haven't done their diligence on. I don't know. Just interesting to note, though. I agree with that. Tatum at 14%.
Yeah. I may also just be ignoring the fact that the dominant ownership mechanism now is what someone spits out in algorithms. Like, it's really what it is. And people generally use this year. So when you said to me, Mike Scott only has 0.68, I think you said alongside a couple guys this year.
Yeah.
But even on the year, I think his fantasy points are like 0.72 or something like that, I would guess. They were in the high 0.6s. I believe they've come up based on some better recent performances. But I would think on the year, even overall, he's at low 0.7s. And
FC has him at 0.66, which is what I pulled for this.
There you go. So, you're going to run that by. I doubt anyone can give him much better than a 24-minute projection. So you run that through, and that's going to math out for basically what I said, which was, 15, 16 fantasy points. I think I said 15 and a half. And that should not give you a lot of that person. So I should note to self, I should do a better job of just understanding, because that is the dominant mechanism for everyone who's entering, or almost everyone who's entering 150, is this is how many minutes I expect a guy to play, and this is how many fantasy points he produces per minute. And that's a very good idea in general. So that makes sense.
Osmo had him at 26 minutes and a 17.3 projection, at least in the most recent run.
I feel like that's too many minutes, but again, he started a game against Boston this year and played 28 or 29. So he started other games and played like 22 or something. But I don't know. We will see. He's fine. I'd be perfectly content with it at 7%. I think I said before, if he was 10%, I think that'd be good. But 7%, yeah, I think it's fine if you ended up with some Mike Scott.
Chetty Osman at 12.3%. I'm a little worried about McKinney taking some minutes off him because he played 36 in that last game and got some more shots up, but still, I think a decent play. Christian Wood at 11.7%. Interesting that he's still there. Darius Garland.
That's about right. I said 10 feels like the point of equanimity for him. So I'm fine with 12% Christian Wood. That's about where that number should be.
Darius Garland 10.5, Jaylen Brown 9.4, Colin Sexton 9.3.
Yeah, people finally giving up on Colin Sexton.
Oh,
don't get me wrong, people
including Kevin Love.
Colin's tough, but very, very fair. That was in fair. Kevin Love was absolutely right. Like as a basketball player, like as a professional, I thought Kevin Love's behavior was unacceptable. You don't publicly throw someone under the bus, make them out to be the fool. That's not cool. As a basketball player, he's absolutely right. If you watch the play in question, literally, Kevin Love gets in there, backs his guy down through the paint, runs a little curl, moves around his guy, and Colin Sexton has not moved a goddamn square inch. Colin Sexton literally dribbles over the half-court line and stands there and dribbles in place for 9 seconds. And Kevin Love does this and like walks around for 5 seconds. And Colin Sexton is literally standing there dribbling in his spot. And Kevin Love is like, what in the Christmas Christ are you doing? You use this time to get a better shot. You don't just wait for this time. And it's like, so
I enjoyed how Chetty was like, did you watch Breaking Bad or did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yes, I'm very familiar.
So it's like Chetty was like Jesse in that scene where Walt and Skyler are eating dinner, where he's just getting a basketball whipped at him, standing on the wing, and it's just awkward. It was just a bad situation. But John Beilein doing his own.
That
weird.
showed a lot of breakfast. Yeah, the whole thugs thing. That's
thugs and slugs. I screw that up all the time. That's classic mix up.
That is a very Donald Trump thing to say. Sort of, it's like, oh, did I say I couldn't think of a reason why they'd have done it? I meant I couldn't think of a reason why they wouldn't have done it. I'm so sorry. It's like, really?
And also, I meant it as a positive that you guys are like slugs.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like slugs they're tough. They have shells. You know, they have stick-to-itiveness. They need to get from your porch to under your porch. It takes them 6 hours, but they get there. They work hard. Like, I guess you can run that. But
yeah, not the best. Maybe he was a big fan of that movie with the snail. I feel like that came out. I wish I had children. I would know that movie better offhand.
I don't know what you're referring to, and I have a child.
There's a movie about a fast snail that I feel like it came out within the last year or so, and I don't keep up with my DreamWorks animations enough. Fast.
Yeah, ever since I stopped dating, I stopped paying attention to the kids' movies.
Fast snail. Turbo is the movie about a fast snail. He is a freak accident, might just help an everyday garden snail achieve his dreams.
If you asked me to name a movie about a fast snail, I think I would have said Turbo.
So. 2013, actually, so it's a little bit of a while ago. So.
Okay.
YouTube chat's got it. All right, let's burn through these remaining ones, see what Daddy, if anything jumps out for Daddy. Kylo Quinn, 4.8%. That seems like not a great play now.
Not at DraftKings.
Yeah.
FanDuel, the price is less onerous.
Sure. Yeah, it's tough to expect him to get minutes if he's not getting that start because he didn't even start that second half in that last game.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward getting 4.7%. Enos Cantor.
That's really good. I mean, that's really good, I should say. Like Gordon Hayward, if he goes back to being the forgotten guy, like it's not unlike Kevin Love last game down ago. There's just guys who will bust out for big ass games on occasion. Like we've seen Gordon Hayward do it in tough matchups where he'll just randomly be like, oops, I dropped 50. Like it just happened. So 5% on a 4-game slate is too little for Gordon Hayward. I only mention this because you should put it as a nugget in the back of your head because he probably won't get there again today. But that's too low. That's 5%, 4 point whatever percent you said on a 4-game slate is too low for 6,400 or whatever the hell the price was on Gordon Hayward. So just for what
it's Cantor at 4.4% right behind him. I also don't hate that.
I hate that either. He's 5 whatever, but dude can, there's no Embiid out there. Gordon, Enes Kanter can double in 16 minutes. Like, and
did it against Philly earlier this year.
Something. Yep, that's exactly true. Yeah, doesn't actually, ironically, for being a horrific defender, does a fairly decent job against Embiid for him.
That's all motivation. That shows defensive motivation because Embiid gets him twisted up in a knot pretty well.
You know who I haven't heard yet? I have not heard Tristan Thompson. I'm gonna like that more.
He's coming up. Langston Galloway 4.3, Sekou at 4.3, and then Tristan Thompson at 3.6.
Yeah, I mean 3.6. That's pretty good. Not a great matchup for him, but has had 40-point games against Drummond a couple times. I'm gonna like that at 4%. So nice. Oh, I haven't heard Marcus Smart yet. FanDuel price was better, but I don't think you said Marcus Smart. Is he coming?
Let's see. We got
the only one I can think of.
We got Marcus Smart. Here we go. 1.7%, which puts him behind Tony Snell and Brandon Knight, but ahead of Furkan Korkmaz.
Yeah, I mean 1.7%. Huh? Probably get 30 minutes Marcus Smart in this game. Not thrilled, but 1.7% is too low. So it's just this. This is sort of a when we're playing guessing anyway, sort of a vanity exercise for me going through this.
I think it's more of a carnival trick more than anything.
Not when I there are days I'm really good at it. Today I screwed up the top 2, which I usually have a better shot at, and then missed Mike Scott by a factor of 4. So not my best showing at this particular carnival, but it's worth keeping in mind. Again, you're looking for any edge at this point. There's guys who are just, periodically under-owned. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Tristan Thompson, who was amazing to start this year, now has fallen off demonstrably. Everybody have a drink. But, 3% on a 4-game slate. It's worth putting them back your head as a cookie.
Thibault at 1.2, Trey Burke at 1. I feel like I've heard some Trey Burke today. That seems about right for Trey Burke.
Yeah, you need a blowout. I mean, you don't need a blowout, but minimum price or something. I don't think I ranked him, but I considered it.
Ennis 0.8%, Della Vadova 0.6%, Zizic 0.4%, Henson 0.3%, Thon McCurr 0.2%, Norvell Pell down at 0.1%, Wanamaker 0.1%, rounded up, Grant Williams as well. Dean Wade 0.04%. Dean Wade fans stand up. Jonah Bolden, I don't think is he available? Is he just not in the rotation?
I believe he is available as of a couple days ago. Is actually active again. He was injured for a bit, but I believe Jonah Bolden is. I don't believe that is a self-playing.
Okay, so 0.04% for him, 0.03% for Tim Frazier, who's also active but not in the rotation. Javonte Green got 0.03%. Blake Griffin, 0.02%. What did they do, Eddie?
They played themselves.
Also, Levi Randolph got 0.03%. What is going on at the bottom of this? Dylan Windler got 0.02%. Sure.
That's also a self-playing. He is not available. So that's also a mistake. I wish he was available because without Kevin Porter, etc., he'd be getting some time.
It's an odd one. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button before you go. Use that promo code 2020. Again, it is going away very soon. I believe the 10th, but I don't want to misquote, but it's going away very soon. So use that right now at osmo.com/join. If you want to get 20 days of Osmo Plus Platinum, all access, all the data across every single sport out there. PGA is going on right now. NHL, NBA, NFL, everything is going on right now. MMA still. So go check that out right now at osmo.com/join with the promo code 2020. And one last shout out for Super Draft, the future of DFS. Use that promo code Osmo for $20 with a deposit of $100 or more right now at Super Draft. Eddie, anything you want to say before we close it out here?
No, but I do want to say that the Osmo NBA account keeps retweeting me out of context. Well, not out of context, but making me look like an idiot. They retweeted that I said 28. Yeah, like my worst call and my worst number of the day. Like I did pretty well with some of the numbers. I think like they literally retweeted me saying, I think that Mike Scott gets 28% ownership. It's like, thanks, making me look good.
You know what? They're just reporting the facts, I guess. But I like what they're doing with it. Like I saw the quotes coming through from you.
I think it's great.
You got quotes. I got nothing. They didn't even. They could have quoted my fun, like, "Oh hey, like Super Draft." I don't know. Give me a quote, guys. I was insulted, but no, not really. They're doing a good job. Our social media team. Follow all the handles at Osmo NBA. Follow at Osmo_com. Lots of great content covering our social media team right now. But yeah, anything else?
No, I think we covered it.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with the Chubster, Josh Engelman. So tune in then. Fast Eddie returns this weekend for some time. Actually, I don't think you're with EMAC this weekend because he's traveling.
No, EMAC's away. I think we get a bonus Engelman show.
Oh, a little bonus Josh in your life. That's what
a little bonus Brody.
All right. So check that out this weekend. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your nights. Enjoy that Russell Westbrook revenge, and we'll see you guys again soon. Good luck.